Good morning, what's up everybody? Don't forget, if you haven't smashed the like button or subscribed to my channel, you might want to do that. I teach you guys everything about these Chinese scooters, whether they're small, big, doesn't matter to me. I fix it all. My knowledge base is crazy. So, my friend called me the other day and said, I'm tired of tiny scooters, I want something big. And I said, alright, I'll find you something. I found this deal for him. He paid $200 for this with a title. It is a Chinese knockoff of a Honda Reflex, and these things actually had some pretty good motors in them. This will rip 80 miles an hour on the highway. It is liquid cooled. It does have a digital dash. It is, like I said, it's an exact replica basically of a Honda Honda Helix. But this is the CFMoto fashion. These are pretty widely known at one point. They're very reliable scooters for the most part. I mean, parts fail, that's just part of it. So I currently have this connected to my 16, well, this is 14.8, but fully charged 16.8. I've checked the CDI, I've checked everything. I currently have my jumper leads hooked to a LiPo battery, and I want to show you guys what was going on here. So this is a 2007, and I'm going to turn it on. You can see it does have a digital dash. It's got all the good stuff, man. This thing works. All the headlights work. The taillights work. I checked all the blinkers with the hazards and stuff. Everything works on this. So I found them a pretty good deal for 200 bucks. This is a Class A motorcycle. I mean, this thing will rip. Pull the brake here. There are a few things wrong with it. We're going to go over that and try to fix them all together. So you can see the brake works. All the rear turn signals work. All this works. I mean, heck, this thing even came with an upgraded trunk. It has 2 different music systems in it. There's a 6-disc CD changer back here with an MP3 plug, and up in here, there's a whole radio tuning spot where you can actually turn on a radio and turn it off, but I think he's disconnected that for the rear radio. This has 14,586 miles. This thing is just hitting break-in point, basically. It hasn't even been broken in yet. So, despite the fact that it's got a Chinese paint job and it looks a little bit rough, this thing should function pretty well. So what I know as of right now is the throttle's stuck. I'm going to spray some penetrating oil down there. It is a dual throttle setup, so there's a throttle cable on the bottom and the top to help you roll on and off the throttle and be more precise. I'm not sure it's necessary, but it is what it is. But the electric start button does work. However, the CDI and the damn it, why can't I think of it? Starter solenoid has been replaced, and unfortunately this thing still is refusing to start. And what's happening is I'm actually, when I click the button, I can see the entire scooter lose power, like it's trying to draw amperage. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that the starter is actually locked up on this, and hopefully it's not the engine. I'm going to see if I can turn the engine over with something first. I'm really hoping the engine's not locked up on this, but if you turn it on and you try to hit the starter, you can see that it actually will blink out the headlights. You'll see everything get dim. So I'm going to hit the start button. See how everything gets dim? Even the light gets dim when I do it. So it's definitely drawing amperage. It's trying to turn the engine over, or the starter is locked up. One or the other. So I'm going to see if I can turn the engine with a socket first. See what we can do about turning the engine over and make sure it's not locked up, because that would just suck if we bought a scooter with a locked up engine. But I mean, for 200 bucks, it's really hard to argue with that price. You know, I don't even feel like he took a loss on this thing. So anyways, this will be the new project here. The starter is extremely hard to get to, so I'm a little ticked about where the starter is. I've already pulled the side case, but the starter's actually way down there. Way down there. So half the plastics will have to come off to get to that. But I want to turn the engine over before I say, okay, it's the starter. The starter might be fine, the engine might just be locked up, and then I'd be doing a whole bunch of extra work for no reason. So we're going to test that, but this was a CFMoto 250cc liquid-cooled Honda Helix replica. This is the new project sitting in the garage, and then I had someone drop off a car they want me to work on, so I'll get to that when I get an opportunity. We'll take a look at that old Subaru. I think it has a boxer engine in it. I can't remember, but I think it does. Did this take a full charge? This took a full charge. Yeah, I think. Let me check. Did it take a full charge? Yes, it did. This thing took a full charge. Cool. So he's got a good working battery here now. That should have turned off. It did turn off. Excellent. So we'll put this battery in that scooter, and now I can disconnect my LiPo battery from that, and we can actually shove this battery directly in there, and then we won't have to buy a battery. So that works out. That just 100% works out. Very nice. Okay, so I did check the oil. It is very low on oil. Very low, and it was very black. That's very unfortunate. I'm really hoping this engine is not locked up, so I'm actually going to put my endoscope down there, and we're going to have a look at the cylinder, and I'm also going to spray some penetrating oil inside of there and have a look at the cylinder itself. I'm hoping we can get a good shot of the cylinder and the cylinder sleeve. So like I said, I'll hook up my endoscope, and that'll give us an idea to see if there's any thermal scorching on the walls or anything like that, or if the cylinder is being squeezed by the side of the sleeve from being overheated. We'll be able to detect all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plug out, and we'll have a look at that cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this one on there and back it off with my electric driver here. Come on, get on there, you stupid. There we go. We'll stick that down in there, see if I can get it good. See if I can get it at a good angle, or if I need to put my extension on here. There we go. Ooh, that's on there pretty good. Oh boy, wow, that's really on there. Oh. There we go. That was extremely tight. Somebody really cracked that down. Oops. Well, damn. I don't even know where that went. Oh yeah, I do. It's down there by the back tire. I can get that in a minute. I'm not worried about it. Alright, let's shove my endoscope down there and see what this thing looks like. You know, it really doesn't look that horrible. However, I am going to spray some penetrating oil in there. Just be on the safe side. I'd rather lubricate that cylinder than not. We can let all that drip down. Won't be that big of a deal. So, now I think I'm going to pull this panel off right here. This lower panel. I'm going to pull this lower panel so I can access this cover, I think, and see if I can turn the engine over. The cylinder sleeve doesn't look that bad, but there is a little weird bubbling on the side of the piston. I don't know if that's carbon buildup or what that is, but there's definitely some strange buildup going on the side, so I don't know. I'm going to further investigate before I damage anything, obviously. That's why we do these kinds of tests, but as of right now, it doesn't look horrible. So I'm going to leave the spark plug out for now, because I want to make it as easy as possible to turn this engine over, you know, without any kind of compression happening. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so lower panel's been pulled. That's over there. The case has been pulled. And this is what I wanted to see. You know, this means the engine's turning over. And I can hear it go foomp when it reaches the top. There it goes. Whoop. So the fact that this is turning means the cylinder is moving freely, so it would appear the only problem with this scooter is that the starter, which is right back here, is frozen, and now I can pretty much access it. It's going to be kind of a pain in the butt because that's it way back there, but with this off I have a little more access to things. So yeah, I'm going to pull this panel back and see if I can stick a thing through there and get that starter off of there. This is the perfect spot to pull it out at if these damn lines weren't in the way, which obviously I can move them. So, yep, this is going to stay apart for now. That's what's going to happen. Make sure all these screws and stuff stay in their little spots. I don't like to lose things or misplace them, so set all that there. This one goes back down here, but I have the thing pulled, so actually I think this one went there. Yes, this one went there, and that one went there. There we go. All right, so cylinder moves freely. I'm gonna go ahead and put the spark plug back in so I don't get anything inside the cylinder head, and then my next project is gonna be getting that starter out from back there. I'm so looking forward to that job. You have no idea. I'm super excited. The belt and the variator seem to be in good shape. The belt is doing good. Seems to be functioning how it should. You know, I can move this pretty easily. It doesn't seem to be bound or anything like that. I can squeeze it and I can feel the clutch move, so this is in good shape. Looks like the belt was replaced not too long ago, and the variator is moving pretty freely. If I look at the variator, I can see the belt's almost reaching the top, so maybe it's time to replace the rollers and sliders inside here, but that'll be for another day. Objectively, just want to get this thing running and moving and then see what happens. So that's what we're going for right now. Things work, things spin, and yeah, so that's what I wanted to see. That makes me breathe a, you know, big piece of fresh air right now, because that means the cylinder is free. So it seems like the only problem we're really going to have here is that the starter needs to be replaced, and I'm going to make a bet this thing will probably start up. It definitely needs oil, though. It's very low on oil. It's not even showing on the dipstick, and it's black, so this needs to be changed like immediately. That's where we're at. So, all right, so I decided not to wait for the starter to come in. I'm just going to bypass not having a starter. There's other ways to start scooters, even without a kickstart. There's other ways to start scooters. Just make sure you have a decently powerful drill to do this. I'm going to teach you guys how to bypass a starter. If you just want to get something running, or your starter fails and you're waiting for it to come in, your kickstart's broken, you can easily do this with any scooter. You just go ahead and, because your stator, basically, your stator creates power for the scooter once it's running, so you can actually pull your case off, and if you get a decently powerful drill, you can put it right on your variator here, and you can spin it just by holding this. I'm a pretty strong dude, so I would say you got to be pretty strong to keep your wrist from buckling doing this. You can see I have fairly large arms, so I'm a pretty large dude, but if you see, when I spin this with the drill, oops, let me do this first. Let's turn on the scooter so that we have power. So I do have a battery in here, but that's not going to make a difference. It's just not going to make a difference. So anyways, I'll put this on the variator, and I'm going to spin this, and I want you to watch the sparks. You'll see the sparks right there. You ready? So you can still create spark even without a starter, just by putting this on the variator and making sure you're spinning it counterclockwise. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, and then you're still going to have to hold your brake. So my suggestion would be get like a hair tie just to hold your brake so the safety switch is on. That way when you're cranking it like this, if you have to crank it like this, yeah, it'll start, because if you're not able to hold the safety switch, then it's not going to start. So you would just bring a hair tie, something to get it right past the safety switch so you can hear click, which is right there. Safety switch activates literally from that far to that far. Your scooter might vary a little bit, but not by much. So you just get a hair tie just to hold that, and then all you have to do is come down here with your drill and just go, boom, and it'll start up, and then throw your drill underneath the seat and take off and go. All right, it's now dark outside, as you guys can see. I pulled the entire carb out and taking a look inside everywhere. Valves, everything look fine, but we're having a problem. We're having a problem. While I have this out, I'm probably going to replace that fuel filter down there, because I have access to it. That's a huge fuel line, but I will say the gas that's coming out of here smells fine. So I think we'll go ahead and throw this back in there. I just rebuilt this entire carb. Like I said, it was dual throttle, so I marked top and bottom. So we're going to slap all this back together. Yay, exciting times. And go from there. Alright, I added some oil because she needed it. Let's see if we can get her to go now. Put that on there. Put my knee down. Almost got her. All right. Running. Whew. Wow. It needs to run for a while. I'm definitely going to add some fresh oil to this thing. Yes, sir. She's not smoking either. That's a huge plus. No smoke coming out the back. Ah. Wow. We're just going to let her run for a bit. I'm going to watch the temperature gauge, make sure she doesn't overheat. There we go.